Hi guys, welcome back to Finpact. Quick update on LUCID. LUCID has been closing deals with Saudi Arabia and entering the China market. This is critical. They are stepping out of America and focusing on emerging markets. This gives them access to an entire new growing economy and they can increase their market share globally. And the thing about EV companies, their expenditures, especially in CapEx, is incredibly high. And then getting sales is proving to be more and more difficult, especially given that the global domestic demand for electric vehicles, not just in China, but also in Europe, has been slowing down. But we're seeing some of the sales pick up, and it's also because of the overall subdued demand in the economy with all the macroeconomic turmoil that we've seen. Essentially, electric vehicles are considered to be a luxury good. They do set you back a hefty price tag. So that's why during times of economic turmoil, people start rethinking their spending. And that's directly impacting the revenues of companies like LUCID and MULLEN. Now, MULLEN's a whole separate story. And right after this video, I want to do a quick comparison of their financials. And well, the fact that LUCID is actually making revenues, it's actually making sales, whereas MULLEN hasn't yet done that. And shareholders have just taken a beating. Anyway, without further ado, let's get back to LUCID. Now, this is what I want to hear. Unlike MULLEN, which are making some deliveries here and there and not even making any revenue despite their promises, LUCID is reportedly sending hundreds of vehicles from their factory in Arizona on a weekly basis to Saudi Arabia. And this is of their Air luxury electric sedan, and it's the home of their largest shareholder. Remember, we talked about the Saudi Arabia investment fund that invested in LUCID. And you know what's really smart? LUCID is a luxury electric vehicle company. Now, where else do you see people buying luxury goods than in the Middle East and in China, where there is a growing economy and growing wealth? I mean, I'm hearing billionaires popping left, right, and center from Saudi Arabia, Dubai, in the UAE, and everywhere. I'm just hearing it everywhere from like emerging economies, India, China. And what's funny is there is such a wealth disparity there, but the middle class is growing and the upper middle class is becoming sort of an extreme where they have almost more money than the average upper middle class person in the US or the UK. And we're seeing that trend take place. And it's funny because the people that are in the upper middle class bracket in places like India, China, Saudi Arabia, they tend to come from businesses or entrepreneurial families or inherited wealth. It tends not to be people who are working a 9-to-5 job in those countries. And the salaries tend to be lower when you have people working corporate jobs from transnational companies that come from Western nations like the US or the UK. So it's funny that LUCID is targeting that audience where they can afford these luxury vehicles. I mean, just take a look at the prices. LUCID Air starts at $117,300 and it can go as high, so for the base pure trim can go as high as $256,000. And you know, I mean, this is just observation. And when I went to Dubai, oh my gosh, everyone's driving sports cars and the police drive sports cars there. So, you know, there is this culture in the Middle East that I'm seeing, and in China where there is a growing list of billionaires every day, and in India where people are choosing to pick luxury cars, electric vehicles, sports cars. And as we know, LUCID is a luxury electric vehicle maker. Now, we don't have all the details about when they're going to start production. All we know is that the head of operations, Zhu Jiang, said on Thursday that LUCID will sell imported cars in China whilst also considering local production in the country. So they are exploring this, but we don't know exactly what extent. I mean, they're not going to just throw in all their production and everything. They're going to want to test the markets. They're going to want to try a small area, see how things sell, see what the customer demand is like, especially given recently we've seen domestic demand in China slow down. Their population growth is no longer growing, as we know. In fact, it's declining from what I heard in another article. But so basically their domestic demand is falling. However, the government have been pushing for sustainable changes. They've been wanting to tackle climate change, and there has been a push towards shifting towards greener energies, such as using electric vehicles. So it's not just Lucid, even Fisker are considering entering the Chinese market. And I think that's a fantastic thing. They could really benefit from first mover advantage. I mean, I do know other electric vehicle companies have established there, and NIO is from Asia as well. But I do think seeing some luxury Western names showcasing themselves in China could be interesting. I mean, I'm not saying Fisker's luxury, Lucid is, but seeing some of these Western names build their presence there could be quite interesting. So we know that Lucid and Fisker are planning to sell vehicles in China, and they are both considering local production, which does mean there could be more capital expenditures ahead, but Lucid does have the financials for it. They're sitting at around $4 billion, $4.4 billion in cash and cash equivalents. And they have actually said in their recent financial Q1 results, in their release statement, they've said that, so yeah, 4.1 billion. And they said they believe it's sufficient to fund the company at least into Q2 of 2024. So they do have enough capital at hand, which can be handy for the investment in the China facilities. So they do have enough cash to open maybe a delivery center or production center in China. But yeah, that could impact profits. Fisker, on the other hand, actually are opening a delivery center. They've actually said that they're going to do it later this year. So they are a little bit ahead of the China production plan. Or they've just announced more, because sometimes companies announce more to get investors excited, to get their stock pumping, so that they get more capital in that they can use to fund operations. Because remember, shareholders, we invest in a company. Our initial investment gives them a huge pool of funds to basically invest in the way they are supposed to invest, to fund operations, to meet their business goals, to meet profit goals. So it's really important that businesses do act in alignment with shareholder interests as well as the long-term growth of a company, because that's what impacts the profits for shareholders in the future anyway, the dividends, the capital, the share price appreciation, so things like that. And that's what my issue with MULLEN recently has been, is that they haven't really been doing that. Anyway, guys, that's an update on Lucid, and very shortly I'll be making a video on comparing Lucid and MULLEN, and just a very quick overview, nothing too crazy. They are different companies and they have different business models, but I know a lot of us are looking to invest in electric vehicle companies, and I want to give you guys the different stages of production they're both on, MULLEN and Lucid, because I know they're very talked about EV vehicles. And guys, if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button and that subscribe button and that bell notification so that you get informed on when I release a video. And so sorry about that background noise. There's someone mowing the lawn, and I was just like, ah, does it have to happen when I'm filming a video? Anyway, guys, remember, this is not financial advice. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.